Well, money may not be the most romantic topic, but it's certainly an important one for couples to be on the same page with financially. And local financial professional Brad Allen from Drake & Associates joining us now with the top financial deal breaker for Wisconsin couples, and then 4 questions to try to get you on the right track. So let's start with the tough one here, Brad. What seems to be the biggest deal breaker for Wisconsinites?
Well, the biggest deal breaker is overspending, right? And several studies over the years have shown that financial disagreements or arguments are one of the biggest leading causes of divorces in the country. And, there's a lot of folks that feel embarrassed, maybe if their spouse makes more than them, or if they have more debt, or they just don't know about finances, they don't pay attention to that. And I'll tell you what, couples can get ahead of that just by being open and honest with each other, and setting times to really just sit down and figure out the finances and figure out where to go from here.
You have a few questions that can help foster that discussion. The very first one, are you a spender or a saver? So you have to be pretty frank and honest with yourself, right?
Right, that's an honest question, right? And be honest with yourself, because if you are a spender, there's nothing wrong with that, but you just have to put that into a budget. I think budgeting is something that we often talk about when we do these, and everybody should have a budget in some way, shape, or form. So on our website, wealthwisconsin.com, we have a budget worksheet where a couple can sit down and just say, okay, this is what's coming in from work, this is what we spend, and this is how much extra we have for the extra stuff that we want along the way. And maybe, as long as you're planning out, that'll help.
And maybe how much you owe along the way as well, because that next question is having a realistic view of the debt that you have.
It's a big one. A lot of people bring debt into a relationship, but that's good to know ahead of time. Not only how much debt do you have, but how are you going to pay that debt back, right? There's different ways to do it with, bottom up or top down ways to do it. And on our website, wealthwisconsin.com, we have a lot of different ways on how to pay debt back the most efficient way possible. But that's something to come up with a plan as a couple on how to tackle that debt.
I'm coming off of paternity leave here, so I know that kids are great and also expensive. So budgeting for how many kids you realistically expect to have.
I'll tell you what, I have 3 at home, and yeah, they are expensive. They say that the average child from birth until 17, it'll cost you $233,000 just to raise a kid. And obviously there's variables to that if you travel, and there's sports and all these different things that could add up. So it does get expensive. And it's not to say you shouldn't have kids, but just plan for it ahead of time. And what I always tell people when it comes to kids is, you want to save for the kids. I do too, and for college and all these different things, but do not prioritize the college saving over your retirement. The kids can take out a loan for college. You cannot take out a loan for retirement. You always want to remember that, and just make sure you're putting money away right now, because it has a big impact later on down the road.
That's interesting, and transitions well to when the kids are out of the house. So how do you start preparing for that retirement now and making sure that you have enough saved away?
Yeah, it's a great question. And one of the things that we saw last year with the pandemic is a lot of savings accounts, a lot of 401ks. People weren't working, or they weren't putting money into them. So now is the time to really put money into those accounts. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of 401ks, there's a lot of Roth 401ks, a lot of different ways that you can save for retirement. But the goal is just to start. As long as you're starting, you're putting money away. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's going to build up over the years. And you want to sit down with a financial advisor. If you're 4 years from retirement, it looks a lot different than if you're 30 years from retirement and how you're saving along the way. So, just putting a plan together for that. I always tell people, retirement plan is not for when you're retiring, it's when you start working. Having that retirement plan and building along the way is going to get you there, because we're all going to retire someday, and you want to be comfortable and ready for it when it happens.
Good advice as always. Maybe not the easiest conversations to have, but important ones, and certainly a financial expert can help you along the way, along that financial journey. Thank you so much, Brad. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.